Welcome to Drips of Consciousness. I am Christel Crawford, and you are invited to a completely different world where my epiphanies in consciousness could change everything for you. Well, this little episode is going to be interesting. I wonder where we'll go. I am in bed, my bed office, dealing with a back spasm. Just this last week, I started going to physio, which here in Canada includes electroacupuncture and manipulation and stretching and strength exercises. And so it was the first time for me. My right shoulder has been semi-frozen or impinged, if you're going to use the correct lingo, for probably about 4 years. But in the last 4 months, I've gotten really active. I really made a different choice with movement and, started doing these 12-week body transformation programs by Mish Bridges. And I just love them. And honestly, my body started reshaping almost immediately. And there's so much going on, that's amazing. And in the process, one of the things that started to occur was, my shoulder thawing out. As I was going forward and doing these workouts, I got the awareness that also my whole entire body was twisted. And years ago, I used to go to a Nuka chiropractor, and he really educated me on the spine and how that works. And, when the top vertebrae of the spine is out of alignment, everything else in the body's out of alignment. And because all the nerve endings in the brain run through that top vertebrae, when everything else is out of alignment, then that's when you open the body to way more dis-ease and struggle. And that was years ago. That was pre-access consciousness. And then, during my access consciousness years, my whole priority structure just changed. I put my attention on other things besides pretty much anything to do with my body, which isn't really true because I included my body in a lot of other ways that I'd never had before. But let's just say that my movement game was definitely not included. And, I didn't pay attention to things like alignment. I was doing a lot of other things, bars and this incredible energetic body work of access consciousness. So, my body changed in so many other ways and contributed so much to the rest of my life. But, about 4 months ago, the question that Gary postured to somebody in a class that I heard secondhand was, why don't you create a sex body? And I sat with that probably for 6 months prior, and it just sat there and wedged me, sex body. I'm like, God damn it, I know how to do that. And, I looked at the future that my choices were creating with my body, and I was not creating a sex body. The future that I was creating was definitely a future of decay and not, evolving my body. So yeah, I made some new choices and I really started moving, and I'm extreme, so if I'm going to start a movement program, it's going to be all in. I'm either all in or I'm out, there's no middle ground for me. So I joined this 12-week transformation program, which really, she encourages you to work out 6 days a week. And I didn't do that for the first 12 weeks. I did about 3 to 5. But even with that, things started really changing. And in this second set of 12 weeks, I really, I just upped it. I asked more and chose more, and it's been really incredible. And then last week, so throughout the whole thing, my shoulder, in the middle of the process, probably 2 months ago, I did go to the chiropractor, and she did start to get me back into more alignment, which was really great because the right side of my body, my right hip and my right shoulder were really frozen. And as she, adjusted things and my body started to reorganize, my shoulders started to thaw, and there was more space. There was also more space for anything to occur. And so anyway, long story short is about 2 weeks ago, I was doing some one-armed towel pulls, which by the way are incredibly difficult, and really, really stressed my shoulder. So I got really aware at that point that I needed to have somebody else look at it. I've never done injury. I've never really exerted myself enough that, injury would even be an issue. I've done like overuse when I was a waitress. Waitressing is full on physically, especially if you're fast and good and all that stuff. So, lots of carrying very heavy plates on the right side of my body, walking fast. And I've worked 80, 90, 100-hour weeks, which are just incredibly exhausting. So I've done overuse. Again, I'm extreme. But like sports injury or, anything like that, not really a thing. Overuse is just a matter of like sleeping more and resting more, so you get through the Christmas season and you're about dead and then you rest all of January. But so this was different. And I asked my body to show me, what it needed, and it kept giving me this image of acupuncture. So I did. I found a physiotherapist here who does electroacupuncture. And so I've had 2 sessions already on my shoulder. And it's been really different. It's interesting what it's just brought up, or what the energy that's releasing, through my system. There's a lot of vulnerability and, probably more vulnerability. And I'm really having to surrender to the process. And then yesterday, I was assisting my partner in hanging this rather heavy whiteboard, home constructed whiteboard on our little Luna's wall. And I lifted in a way that I could have lifted any time. And about 5 minutes after I lifted, I started feeling these sort of nerve pains in my back. And I didn't really think much of it, because nothing's ever really gone beyond that. And within another 30 minutes, I was in a full-blown lower back spasm, to the point where I was like on my back, stretching and then needing to just like stay very, very still or in a stretch. So I used my Healy device, which, if you guys don't know what the Healy is, it's really incredible. It's an it's a micro frequency device. And I put the little electrodes on, and I placed them, on either side on my back, and started that. And that actually really, really helped. I was able to continue to keep moving. But, with the Healy, you really only run about 3 programs and then you're done. And so I took it off and laid on the bed and watched a movie with everybody for about an hour. And then I literally tried to get up and I was on the floor. So last night was about just, alternating cold and heat and my friend Maxine brought over some muscle relaxants, and I had a little scotch. It was really just about, staying a lot more still and caring for me. And it's just been I'm in a really interesting place. I called the physio today, and I've got an emergency appointment, going. I'm going to head over there at 1:30. Today, interestingly enough, with the timing, I have a treadmill and a desk, showing up. They're being delivered at 11. So it's like my body adventure can continue, but there's something showing up with these different injuries that to me are reminiscent, or I don't know if that's the right word. To what I get about this is I'm in a bit of a healing crisis. And when I say a bit, I mean that thing of that everything's falling apart to fall back together, is happening here with my body too. Because there's so much peace, and there's so much calm, and there's so much peace and calm showing up as well for me as the being. It's interesting that there's this little bit of want to panic sort of thing. It's like my exercise program is now out the window for the moment. I'm going to have to, reimagine this, and also just like sit the fuck down for as long as this takes and really receive and employ other people to assist and support and all of that. And that's all. I wouldn't say that's something I'm used to. One of the things you can do with any kind of pain, which is I'm playing with that yesterday and today, is a pain is a power that you're avoiding. And I've been really asking about this pain, like, what is this? What can I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how can I change it? And taking the energy of the pain and fracking the insanity underneath it. And fracking is just this very, very simple energetic tool that is basically like you get the energy of whatever the pain is, whether it's physical or financial or emotional or relationship or whatever it is. And you literally get that energy, pull it all in, and then do 1, 2, 3s to frack whatever insanity is creating it. And so it's like pull it all in, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And what I'm discovering, the interesting thing about physical pain for me is that it forces me immediately to getting present. Like there is no, these two pains, my shoulder and my back, are like, you can't ignore them. And in the rehab of my shoulder, which has really only been going on for about a week, there's also like remembering to stretch and do the strengthening exercises and commit to the process of rehabilitation. Because without the process, it can't actually begin to function in a different way. And I'm so accustomed to, my personal preference to anything is instant gratification, right? Like, and everything in my life right now is showing me the value, I guess, of committing to whatever it takes to change things. My relationship, my body, my business, and not just change things, like whatever it takes to have the greater future, right? The greater future where my body has all access to all of its abilities, the greater future where my business, continues to grow and thrive, the greater future with my relationship where we actually get to be the greatest versions of ourselves. And it's really different. It's really different. I've used a lot of force in my life to get to where I want to go. Force is an energy I'm just really comfortable with, I'd say. And in the last year or so, it's disappeared. It's not that I can't, it's just that it's not the dominant energy anymore. The dominant energy is relaxation. I did ask for that. I really asked the universe to show me the relaxation of creation. And it's interesting because it doesn't produce the same as force. It produces different. And I get that every single thing that's showing up right now is showing me more about that. So it's just being with everything, and what can I be to facilitate the change that I've asked for, the change that my body is showing me. One of the questions you can always ask is this the change I've been asking for showing up in a totally different way, yes or no? I get yes, for that. And what can I be with this that's different? And what is my body showing me that I can receive? And what gift can I be to my body? And what gift is my body being to me? And what can I choose here? What a ride. How does it get any better? Thank you so much for listening to this show. My target is to make consciousness easy to find. So if you enjoyed this, please leave a 5-star review, and also share this with a friend who might be looking for more consciousness in their life. You can visit me on ChristelJoyCrawford.com, and to learn more about the incredible life-changing tools of Access Consciousness, go to accessconsciousness.com and theclearingstatement.com, and be sure to subscribe to the podcast.